Good.
Abuba salamnya, salamnya, matakore salamnya, mama salamnya. Salam take, full fakir salam take, yang macar salam take, manika salam take. Salam take, tabandenga salam take. Dol fakir mada salam, ya rudu salam. Monin biga tamam, biga murta, motorona jil. Salamnya, biyunume, betalau, bejejin, betalau, abuba salamnya.
Hello and welcome. Thank you, those who have just arrived, and thank you. Ajak Deng Chiengkou. Today is going to be a different show. I will be speaking in Dinka, in English. I've done most of the shows in Dinka, and some of the shows actually I was able to broadcast in English. But today I will be speaking in English. And I hope I will be mixing it as well with Arabi Juba. I don't know how is Maria going to get that later. But the show is about what is happening in South Sudan. And I'm going to be joined by Marial Manya Duot. Marial is a PhD student or a candidate in Deakin University doing his, is almost coming to an end. He's done with the rest of the thing. So his studies is based on security studies and conflict studies in specifically in South Sudan, and beside other educational achievement that he got. So our academic documents that he will later explain. So we will be very specific about some of the things that we want to talk about. And if you are one of the people who want to participate or have a question, please post it, and then I will be able to share it with Mariar Mach. He's young to those who can see him. He's a very young person. But in terms of what he acquired, he can tell us much about South Sudan. So I will just talk to the other to Dinka speakers who always follow my page. We koi ping and be jam tong jeng kul tong English kul one Mariar Maya dot ku the same thing itu nazal gatesma ana gar kalam kul yom beruta and Denka alela be kalam be beluka English وممكن بعدين يكون طلع شوية كده أنا ممكن أتكلم بالعربي بعدين لو في كلام ممكن لو في زول بقدر يتكلم عربي جوبا ده ما عربي classic. So welcome Mariar Manya Duot, and please introduce yourself. But I want to apologize first before Mariar. We plan to have this show, but Mariar had a bit of an accident. You can see with him. So, but he's passionate to talk about this. So he will explain it later. But he fall down. Sorry for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Explain yourself first, then we can continue from there.
All right, man. First of all, I would like to thank all your viewers, Ajak, and the rest of the people that are following the Dinka radio. My name is Marial Maadwar as Ajak Furit, and I am an academic at the Deakin. Uh, I am a graduate of the BA in political science and a master's degree in international relations and security and uh, conflict and security strategy. Rather, I also had a master's degree in public policy, and I'm about to finish a PhD in security and conflict. That's all about me. The accident that I just talked about, I fell down yesterday on my stairs here in my house, so I bite my lip a bit, so you can see it on my lower part of the lip. So I cannot put on off a talk because I had an accident or I bite my lip. So it is an accident, and it had nothing to do with what we talk about today. So yeah, in case you see that, then that's what had happened. And yeah, it is all current. It's not something that just stay there.
Okay.
So that is all about me. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And first of all, guys, you are welcome to be a participant in this show by posting your questions. And I just want to put a disclaimer here. I'm doing this as an educational show, so we will be talking specifically on some of the issues that are currently going on in South Sudan. If you are expecting us to be aggressive on any section, then I'm sorry, that's not what is going to happen. We are trying to talk on points and also make analysis about some of the decision making. And this is where we need you also to play. I will be displaying a telephone later where you can call.
And another disclaimer that I want to talk about to your viewers, Jack, is that I'm not talking today as a political person or the back of any political group in South Sudan. I am an academic. I'll be responding from academic point of view. And for people who will be disagreeing with me, you can go get yourself a PhD, and so we can discuss on that point of view. But I'm not going to be political. Yes, I'm a political researcher, yes, but I'm not going to be responding based on the political allegiances that are happening in South Sudan or in our country. So in case if you disagree with me on a partisan kind of disagreement, don't take me like that. Take me as an academic that you happen to have a point of view that is different from what I believe in it. Okay. So that is the disclaimer that I want to put on.
I can see people are already complaining. First, I've put that disclaimer. This is a show that I'm doing on my own behalf as a Jack. This is not on where I work. I think if you follow this page, Ajak Deng Chiengkou, this is my personal page. So you should always read that disclaimer. Another thing, another audience is saying some funny thing here, that your job is based on Dinka language. that is the best joke of the day. Anyway, let's go into what we are talking about now. First, if you can give us the highlight, Mariar, in a recently formed government of or revitalized government of national unity. It is one of the things that I've not talked about much. Looking at the experience of 2016, I actually took a low profile this time. I never approached things because I don't know what would happen. But it seems now the deadlock become a big issue on a number of states, as it was agreed, and also whether the 10 governors should be appointed and which will be the headquarters of the new 10 states. I think that is the issue now because there are still almost 32 acting secretaries as we speak. So if you can go ahead as an overall looking of the thing, will this government work?
Well, it depends on what you define as work. I, if your work or if the meaning of work in your understanding is, are you talking to me?
To go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so my response is it depends on what you define as work. If work depend on we have a government of the people that is going to provide security and all the necessities needed by our people, like all other things like healthcare, public service, some of the things that the government do, a functioning government, what we define as functional government in part of the world that I live in, then the answer will be no. They're not going to do that because that government been there for last since 2005. They do nothing. There's no road. There's nothing. So if work or if the meaning of work depend on that, forget it. They're not going to do anything. The question I would assume, will the peace agreement sign or hold for the 3 years or the interim period that is in place? I would assume yes. If you ask me why, I would say, look, people are tired a little bit of fighting. They've been fighting, they've been fighting, they've been fighting, and there's no what we call outright military
You mean
military solution.
you mean the politicians and the followers are tired because there were no citizens fighting, so the politicians are tired of fighting.
Well, they might not be tired, but there is stalemate. It's stalemate for people who are not aware of that. Is when is when there is okay.
Maria, hold
Let
on.
me.
Hold on.
Right.
I don't know why is the PID a issue? Those who are commenting, we are talking about South Sudan here. It is not about PID. We let ask good questions about what is happening or what you need to happen. But you should not actually bother yourself about what PID and who is holding what and who should talk about what. That's why we go to school.
No, Banyaja, I don't think you responding to what people are saying in your comment is actually a necessary thing that you should be doing. Yes, it depends with what they're talking about. They talk about the issue of today, and the issue of today is about our country, is not necessarily about where will I work or where will other PhDs work. Yeah, at the end of the day, they had a PhD and you don't. So that is not the issue about where we work. So they're not focused with
now,
the
if I can
question.
go back to the question, the main thing that was the fear that majority of the world experts have was the issue of whether the government will actually hold, the peace will work. And based on what we know now, when President Salva Kiir Mayardit announced the new government and the appointment of the 5 vice presidents, they technically agreed to form a government. But until now, even during the crisis of coronavirus, there are no state governors. And that, for any person who is outside, who understand how things work, that means there is a very big disagreement. There's a very great disagreement that is happening. And then if you look at things now, Doug Bichuk, who is a senior SPLM-IO member, defected within the same government. They know that they are part of the government. They are partners to the peace agreement, which installed the government of national unity for the next 3 years. And then people are moving from this side of the government to the other side of the government, and there are disagreements that are happening. So that was the intended question, whether this will hold and whether this government will actually have a space to work together, the peace partners.
Well, our people are used to one particular thing. It's about the main political protagonists fighting among each other, which is Riek Machar and President Salva. If you ask me whether they will be fighting in next 3 years
Bring
from the day that the government was formed
bring the
to the
camera
day
down.
that
Yep,
okay
yep.
to the day that the agreement will expire, I will say no. Given the am I right?
Go ahead. You're talking.
Oh, okay. Uh, Given the point that I gave you before about the stalemate, it seemed like there's no outright military solution between President Salva and President and Vice President Riek Machar and rest of the supporters. Uh, there will be no winner by pursuing a military solution. So I would believe the government that is in place will be there for next 3 years. Going to the question of his state before I come back to the defection, we actually had a vacuum in, now in the state, and given the current situation of a biosecurity threat, because when there is a pandemic, the security expert will actually look at it in terms of a biosecurity point of view, and look like the country is under attack now from a biosecurity threat. Until you put a state government in place to actually deal with the threat, let us assume in Jonglei, in our own state, you and I, if there is an outbreak of a coronavirus now in Jonglei and we have a vacuum of government, we will deal with that. I don't believe this the state secretary or what is it that was then Jonglei that is amalgamated back to what it used to be can actually deal with the situation. It need a little bit of a higher hand on it. You need a government that will be rapid, government with a powerful executive body with the resources to respond to the issues of biosecurity. So a failure not to form the state government or to appoint governors in such contact is actually a threat to the people living in 10 state. It would be 10 state, let's say. So government is actually playing with fire in this context by not putting the state governors in their position, wherever they are or whatever they will be or wherever they're coming from. It is important now to have them in their respective state. Coming back to the question of defection, I don't think I call it defection. It is a confusion itself. It is not a defection, because a defection is when you have a rightly defined political group that are not in alignment with each other, and then you move from this party to the other party that are in opposition. Then politically you can be considered as a defector. But when it is a government of national unity, and then you say you defect from here to there or from here to there, it doesn't make any sense from people who actually understand how political system works. In my own opinion, these people are guilty of hypocrisy because you cannot fight the system only to defect from it to the same system that you fought, or you cannot defend the system only to defect when you lose a position or where you don't get a position. That is actually not how the real politics work.
But
Unless maybe you are driven by your own interests, not the interests of the people.
no, looking at, I think, if you look at the things back, starting from 2013, a lot of things have changed in terms of how the political groups behaves. I'll take one example recently. When the team of Dr. Riek Machar was coming in, a lot of changes happened in terms of those who were the supporters of the government switch to the opposition. There were people like Tila Deng, who was once a senior advisor to the president, a legal advisor, and then Ambassador to Russia, defected to join Dr. Riek Machar. A former governor of Pangak a senior SPLM, defected to join Dr. Riek Machar. Now the same wave happened again. Senior SPLM-IO are coming this way. And the question is, why would these people who are already partners to the peace agreement, whether it's Riek Machar or or President Salva Kiir Mayardit, why would they receive the same people who are moving from one side of the house to the other side of the house? Is there a political benefit to that?
Well, it depends on what you define as a political benefit. In during the CPA, when you see the rate of which the SPLM were incorporating and train and assess kind of armed group, there was a view that we will go back to war with the North.
Mm-hmm.
And what they need at that point is a large force that can actually draw a line and say, this is what we define as South Sudan. And when the North attack, then we will have enough fighting force to repel the attack from the North or to deter the aggression, if I were to put it in my security argument. The political leaders in South Sudan are not operating without that mindset, because they always sense the war, because there is no procedure of how a procedural political competition can be based. These groups are living in what we call a siege mentality. They believe in the sense of, I need to force people to believe in what I believe. I need to show enough power to deter or to actually coerce people to believe in what I do, whether should it be a peace agreement or power sharing or some other thing. Given what they do, they are preparing for a political backing in case whatever that is happening or whatever that will happen after 3 years from now. So they can be partners now, but I don't think that they are forgetting about what will happen in the next 3 years. Whether it will be war or whether it will be a procedural political contest.
So you are looking.
So that's the reason.
You are looking.
So that's the reason.
So you see this as a political strategy in terms of what one will get tomorrow in case of elections, in case of political majority within a certain region or area.
Yes, but you also need to ask at what expenses, because
we will come to that. we will come to that. We'll come to that. Answer the political strategy behind all this, because if you can just if I know that there is no reason for Mariar to move from this side of the house to my side, I know that first of all there is nothing that is going to change. If that person was a government official on the other side or is treated as a civil servant, is going to get the same amount of payment, unless if they were not deployed on the other side. Then the only benefits that they are going to get on this side of the political aisle, it is that they are going to be employed. And that is the political benefit that I was trying to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you see the rate of defection is not genuine. It is a hunting for position. Let's say, if I do believe joining the other person will give me a high chances of being a governor of Jonglei today, if that is my own motivation, I will go there, because it will give me a chance of becoming a governor of Jonglei. If me joining the other side make me a lieutenant general or some other kind of person within the security system, I would rather join where I will gain elevation or some higher employment of the thought within the system. So the defection actually, it is about a political, it's not pretty much about a political strategy as we can see it, but it is rather looking for the chance of employment. Okay. And that's why I call it disingenuous. It is not genuine. People are not defecting on the basis that they actually see the other party has actually lost the vision on a genuine basis. If you defect on the basis that you don't get a job, that is called a protest, or you become disgruntled with what you haven't because you haven't get anything. But it's not because you totally disagree with the politics or the policies of the party that you used to belong. It is pretty much that you haven't got what you want where you used to.
Now let's come to your field of expertise, and that is the security sector. I had a very interesting interview, I think many years back, with the former governor of Lagos State, that was Matur Chunodwal. And I was being inquisitive about how the civilians, the civil population was armed. And I asked him a specific question whether during the SPLA, whether civilians were armed this way. And he said no. He told me that you can find a civilian with a PKM, RPG,
Mm.
and other ammunitions that are owned by the organized forces in their houses. And there is no government that can disarm this kind of civilian if that government is not well equipped. Now, what is the state of affairs in South Sudan when it comes to security and the arms with the civilians?
Well, I will start with the basic tenet of security for the state to protect or to control the use of force, as it is the core argument. State need to have a legitimate monopoly over the use of violence. Legitimacy and monopoly are too complicated, so they cannot be deciphered in layman language. It's very difficult. But let's talk about the arm. Yes, civilian are armed because there is a inflow. The inflow of arm is not controlled. I usually see people talking about disarmament. I am a DDR expert. That's where my PhD focus. You can disarm as much as you want, man. But until you know where gun come from, to the hands of the people who possess them, that would be a vicious circle. You take guns today, they will arm themselves. You take guns today, they will arm themselves. You take guns today, they will arm themselves. It's a vicious circle. But that is not the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, why do people need guns? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. Because you and I live in Melbourne, we don't have guns, and we are not looking for them. The reason that everybody in South Sudan is looking for gun, there is something about how the state is functioning and how the security is discharged, special protections, part of security. Uh, I believe, or my conclusion is that security in South Sudan become or has become self-assured, of which everybody protect themselves. Nobody protect the collective, which is there is no a centralized security system that actually ensures the security for everybody. And when there is nothing like that, security becomes self-assured. So each and every village will form their own informal army or informal security system, and they will protect their cattle, they will protect their farm, they will protect their property from whatever that they are creating. So you will not talk about controlling arm without talking about where arm come from. Whether do we have a centralized security system that is protecting everybody without favor? And in my own assessment, I'm not saying our state as refused to do that. He is unable to do that.
Okay. When also you're looking at since 2006, which is actually the year that can be counted when the government of South Sudan, which was Ghost, when the government of South Sudan started to work hard. In your research, have you found in any way that there were policies to control gun control? to get the flow of guns to the country or to
No,
the hands of the civilians?
no. There are institutions. There are institutions. There is a Bureau of Community Security and Small Arm Control is there. There is a joint border verification mechanism institution is there. There is a DDR commission in itself is there. But I think the militarization of civilian or South Sudan, to take a civilian word out, the militarization of South Sudan was deliberate in my finding. And I have a record that confirmed it to me by talking to senior security officials and powerful political leaders in the country. It was deliberate. When the CPA was signed, nobody was aware that we were not going to go back to war with no. CPA was described as a ceasefire by a lot of people. It was according to them. So what do? We only get out people who cannot fight when war happened. These are the only people that the DDR affected. These are the people they like women, disabled soldiers, and child soldiers were taken out of. It would be a fighting force. But South Sudan was actually prepared itself for a war with the North, and so a militarization was deliberate. But nobody knows on how to control that armament after we became an independent state. Uh, we have bodies that are in place that are too weak, or they are led by people that are too incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. And so we stuck with the armament that was put in the hand of people, and now they're running around with them. They're
I
shooting each other,
I
and
don't
they're doing whatever they can do.
I don't know whether you saw a video this week that some bandits were actually caught in Juba, and they were paraded by the Ministry of Interior, and you will be shocked by the number of guns that were in their possession. These were these guns, including artilleries, the RPGs and PKM, and you wonder it would become a surprising thing that in a city that is believed to be controlled by a government, such people will exist with such guns. They mentioned another funny thing also, that some of these people were from the organized forces. So is the situation forcing these people to act that way?
Well, there are so many ways of looking at it. I saw the video. Yes, if that video was not something that was put in place, if those guns were actually caught with a criminal, uh, make me a president of the state, I will arrest the director of, how do you call that guy, the guy in charge of the police. I will fire him the following day. Because there will be no way in a metropolitan city where some people are running with PKM in the middle of the city. What the heck? And you think that you have a police force? Okay, they can argue, yeah, we captured them, but where do they get a PKM? First of all, that is the question that you should ask. Okay, uh, whether the situation influenced the security forces, yes, is something that can be argued. Because if you go for like about 2 months or 3 months or even half a year without your salary, and you have a gun, chances are you can do some stupid stuff that are not aligned with your duty as a security officer. So I can understand on how the situation can force people to do that. But the elephant in the room that we can argue is that there is no security to do the security job. Because if there is, how do people run around with a PKM in the middle of the city, terrorizing, and they are foreigners to make it worse?
Okay. Sorry, I just got a message. Somebody was just sending me a sad news here, so I'm yet to confirm that. I think that somebody had an accident. Somebody that I know, and I just that's what I'm told has passed. So I will not talk about it. So it's just
Well, Yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what time did it happen, so I'll talk about it later. And I'll talk about it later. It's just now from Kenya, I think. So we which this start actually
Yeah,
interrupted. Okay,
it's
let's continue with the show, guys. I'm sorry I got interrupted. If you are listening, I was just getting somebody text me a message of somebody that I know. I've just talked to this gentleman this week, and it's shocking how things happen. So anyway, okay, let's go back to the story. Now we come back to how things are. I think we are being told here to be on the topic. Now, especially with the current affairs, with the issue
mm-hmm.
of it was last week that when I interviewed Dr. Ngunkwalti about the issue of coronavirus, and one things that he mentioned was that there are 32 secretaries, and these 32 secretaries, they represent the former 32 states, and to coordinate some of the work, you don't know who you are supposed to be calling, because they still represent the former states, even though they have been moved to current 10 states. There are no specific directions to how they will emerge and where they're moving as headquarters. Take example in Jonglei State, the former Jonglei states have become one. But how do you tell the other one from Akobo to move to where? Or do you tell the office of the governor to be where? All these are yet to be communicated. If we were to go back on that topic, will this give South Sudanese hope? Another thing that I need to add on that you can have opinion about it. If you can hear what's the song that John Bagger was singing about, he was saying that the peace has been signed by by Kir. Riek Machar accepted it. Everybody celebrate. People at the UN camp will be out. People at the UNIMIS will be out. People who have suffered will be laughing on the street. What is happening?
That was an hyperbole or a misreading of the situation, and I cannot blame the musician. So I, he, here is the reality. I went to UNIMES camp in Juba 3 times. The people that are there in that UNIMES camp are not there because they will be killed when they rock out to come and stay in Juba town. No, that's not the case. Majority of them, they come and spend a day in Juba and then they go back to the UNIMES camp to sleep. It is about the necessity of what they are getting from the UNIMES camp. It is no longer about the physical security. It comes to where they sleep and where they eat. That is the question. I know that facts will make other people really upset, but that is the reality. I went there 3 times as a researcher and as somebody who went there to check for other things. Yeah, so they're not going to come out until there is a proper way of how these people will sustain their life out of the UNIMES camp.
Now,
So the musician was actually reading too much into peace agreement with us saying, yeah, because we have a power sharing. How is that trickling down to the population that is affected by war? Because having a peace and having a people benefiting from the peace agreement is totally different thing. It's not the same thing. It doesn't mean the same thing.
Now let's come to the reality of things here. In 2014, 2015, before the first agreement was signed, people like Tavan Dengai and other former SPLMIO members like Ezekiel Lol, and the rest of the generals who later defected to the government. One of the arguments that they were saying is that civilians at the UN camp are suffering and we need them to come out. They never came out.
Yeah.
Why is it difficult for the government to have policies on how to resettle these people? There, according to United Nations, until few years ago, there were 72,000, if not more, across South Sudan that were being hosted by the UN. Why is it difficult to even talk about it or even to have a policy on how to resettle these people?
Well, that's a little bit a tricky question, but there's a way to look at it. Resettle them where? That's the question that you want to say. Dear home state, let's say the people from Bor, if there's anybody from Greater Bor in that camp, or in the camp in Bor, or in the camp in Bentiu or some other place, you want to get them out and want to resettle them. Where? Their home are destroyed. And even if you get them out and then you go there and give them what we call reinsettlement in a post-war context is something that you get when you get out from being a refugee or a POC center, and then you go to your village. People will give you 10, let's say two bags of maize, and then they can give you 2 blankets or some other thing. How are they going to sustain you for like the rest of your life when there is no security to protect you when you are farming, when there's no road, there is no small clinic in case you got malaria? It is about the sustainability of the system. You can have a policy, but if it's going to run for 5 days, we cannot call that something that was buying into. People buy into something that will sustain them for like a year or years, which our government is not able to do at the moment. It's not because they don't want it, but the capacity of the thing that, or the financial capacity, whatever that they can do, I don't think they have it at this moment to resettle people and give them a long-lasting reinsettlement that will keep them in their communities and protect them as well. So it is a very challenging, and these people will remain there for a little longer.
No, okay, hold on. Sometime I want to, I don't know whether you are reading some comments there. I don't know whether we will pick some comments and then you can talk about them. Are you able to see them?
Well, you can pick whatever you want, because I see some people here. Some people calling me stupid PhD. I cannot debate that.
The question is, what have you said that led you deserve that?
I don't know. I told you that there's something that I can say that will make people upset. So, because when people disagree, what do you say? Our people, when they disagree, what do you say? They cannot debate. They will just insult.
What are they disagreeing with? What is that, guys? Can you write? I'm ready to answer that. The question is, as a person who is watching this, I just want to ask you a simple question. There is nothing serious that we have talked about with Mariar. But if I were to ask you a simple question, answer these questions. Number one, are you employed? Do you have a secure job? Is your mother and your siblings, are they secure? Is there cattle rustling going on? Are you? Let me ask these questions, and then they can answer them. Do you have? Do you have a good school? Are you going to university that has been built by your state or by your government? If you can answer this, or do you have a hospital? If you have these questions.
There is this guy, will this peace agreement lead us to next election?
Go to English. You are going to Dinka. Go to English.
All right, all right. So sorry, this I thought was on the others. All right. Uh, there is this question here. Will this peace agreement lead us to next election?
Mm.
Uh, it depends on what you define as election. Because we have to deal with the party politics first, because we do know that's how it works in South Sudan. I don't know whether the current leaders, Riek Machar and President Salva, the rest of the people, whether they will form a unified SPLM, SPLA, or SPLM as such. And the procedure of who will become a flag bearer is another thing that need to be addressed. And if that is the election that you are asking about, okay, I cannot give you any answer about that. I don't know exactly how we're going to go there, because it's a party politic. It's not determined by the masses. Uh, the question I would assume, will we spend 3 years without a major war between Riek Machar and Salva? I would say yes. And if the election is to be held after 3 years,
Where did you get that assurance from?
the surety that I told you, I talked about the stalemate before. A stalemate came when you actually test the war and you haven't get pretty much what you want out of it. So the outright military victory is out of the question.
Let me look at the question asked by Paula Linda here.
Sorry.
Paula, let me display it on the screen. Let me display that on the.
Okay.
Let me display that. Okay. Brother Marial, if you are given a chance today to be a president of South Sudan, where will you begin the reconstruction of the country? Either physically or let me where is it? Let me bring it back again. Let me finish that. I put it on the screen and then we can. And then okay. Reconstruction of the country, either physically, mentally, or economically. That is a question to you if you were to be a president. Where will you begin?
I don't know about physically, because you cannot construct a country physically. You talk about the key pillars that make the country work, and that is what I correspond to.
Mm-hmm.
If you make me a president today, I will have a vision of a country in my mind. What is it that is a country? Government is not always there to give people things. That's not the work of the government. Government actually prepared a platform for people to produce their own thing. And that starts with the economic infrastructure. Let's say we have road, we have electricity, we have few things. Another thing, you need to have security, because for people who want to be farmers, they need to grow their own food. People who want to keep cattle, they need their cattle to grow or have them where they will not be raided. And if they are raided, the raiders will be held accountable and sent to jail. What the government can do to ensure all that is using the natural resources that they get, which is the oil of the country and some taxes that are collected,
Mm-hmm.
to actually ensure that the villagers are protected. That is the share of the oil. You don't need to give them money, just give them services, as if they were the one, or as if they were employed with the government. The share that they need from revenue is protection, is hospital, is school, is security, is road, some of the things. When you have a producing population that is protected by the state, then you will not talk of having people that are too dependent on politics. The reason our politics is too violent is because each and everybody is dependent on that. There is no other mean of generating resources or income among people. You want to be a minister, even if you are a medical doctor. You want to be a governor, even if you are an academic with a PhD. Why do you want to do that? In this country, we talk about the university, and some people up in the parliament. So that what I would do if I am a president of the country, which I'm not gonna. But if I were to be the president, that what the reconstruction of the state or the country should do. You have to produce a productive group of people by doing your work as a government. So we have a system that is not actually doing what they should do to let people produce. Because people say they're lazy, they're that. Who would want to grow food when they're going to be shot in the middle of the day with no protection?
Okay, another question from Ajak Deng Chiengkou is that let me display that on the screen. If that will be, in your opinion, what do you think would be the end game to insecurity in South Sudan?
Is that my question?
That is your
That
question.
your
Yeah.
question?
That is your question.
Well, it is a long way out. I stipulated in my thesis, but there is a discussion into it. The insecurity from what? That's the question that you need to ask yourself first of all. Let's say if we talk about a small group fighting among each other, you need to talk about why they are fighting each other. Let's say some ethnic group that are fighting among themselves. And if one particular group is insecure about the other group, you need to know why other group is attacking them. Because that will give you a sense of doing the job of ensuring security for each and everybody. So insecurity from what is the most important thing, and who is doing what to make other people insecure, and why? These are critical questions, and these are questions that can only be answered by a system that is in place. And if we have a system in place that is not able to ask those questions, then they're not going to ensure security. And when there's no security, there will be insecurity. Something that I cannot address. I can write about it, but I cannot address it.
Now, let's come back to, guys, keep asking questions. And if you want to, I will display a number later. Let me display a number in case you want to be part of the conversation. I'll keep Mariar here before he leaves. Guys, this is also a conversation. It's an educational conversation. We don't need to be. We have not gone hard on any political group, and I think, and this is where you should actually start to learn to listen. For some people who are just discussing what they are here to hear here. We are here talking about South Sudan, not individual politicians or not individual particular group or not particular group. Now, let's come back to the issue of what are you laughing at?
There is a guy who said, who did the guy?
I told you.
I love these people. They're so good. Anyway,
I told you that the moment because I told you that. Remember 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when I was telling my colleagues in my office that this is a PhD student, and he was, how long has been in Australia to study PhD?
yeah, man. I don't know, man. There is this guy here called South Sudan Multicultural Country Channel. He's talking rubbish. Who is this guy?
No, I don't.
He's actually insulting me.
No, he started with me. He actually started with me, and that's why. Let's go ahead. The talk. We have 200 or something people. Let's go ahead, guys. He's by the way, I've taught him. He's my student. He's a very young guy. So I taught him when he was in primary school. So he's a PhD student, and he's almost to an end. He's finishing his PhD, and he has a lot of other He has other degrees. So in terms of education, he's an academic, and you will be proud of. If you want to talk to him, you will learn much from him. He may be young by age, but he's not. Is not young when it comes to what he knows about the South Sudan. And this is where we should come in as South Sudanese. Let's value what one knows, not trying to dictate age. And that's why young people also need to learn. We complain always, yes, we need to take over from South Sudan, but we have to be somewhere in order to take over. So let's continue. With the issue now, let's move to, if you have watched the interviews by Mading Ora Kenyakwai, these are the debate of federal system was very interesting. I've watched some of the
No, it wasn't.
eh?
It wasn't interesting. Mading was actually hosting a theater. It was not.
let, let,
Because
let me come to the point first, because why I said it was interesting. I saw politicians sitting at as audience, members of parliament, and then there were members of the government, and then members of the opposition. And what I was what I was interested in is the conclusion. What are these people going to agree on? What was this kind of federal system that they were talking about? At the end of the day, there was no conclusion. That brings us back to the concept that was actually put into CPA, that South Sudan is going to be a decentralized system. And when they were talking of the decentralized system, they were then going to have a transition to any particular federal system that they choose. And I can give you best example. In 2006, Australia was chosen as one of the systems that need to be studied. Belgium, United States, and Canada. If people were to transition from the federal system, from the decentralized system to the so-called federal system, until now, I don't know whether South Sudan is actually if they are debating a realistic thing, decentralized, federal, confederation, or whatever. Tell me, what is happening?
all right, look, the question that you need to ask when you talk about the governing system of South Sudan, it is a decentralized system. And with that, let us start with what is it that's a decentralization. Decentralization of the governance is one such as a public sector policy reform in which a great autonomy is provided to the lower level of the governance or the government as such, which the current system we have actually ensure that there should be a decentralization of power and a function of governance. So the question that you need to ask yourself before you jump to federation, you need to ask what is wrong with the current system we have, which was not in the debate that was held because you need to diagnose the problems, the deficiencies, when you actually perform it to the fullest, and then you see the deficiency with the system of decentralization that you have. This is where you will start talking about federation. And when you talk about federation too, you also need to talk about the consequences of federation. In as much as it gives you a lot of autonomy and too much power to decide a lot of things, you also need to come with the responsibilities. You just have a federation, whatever federation you choose. It doesn't just come and then all of a sudden you rock up with a very effective kind of federation. We can't be a federated state today as a Republic of South Sudan. But when we have a state that are not able to generate resources on their own, they will still depend on the central government. And when there is too much dependence on central government, the policy decision, let's say how many ministers you will have in your state, how many members of parliament you will have in your parliament, will be determined by the paying authority because you are not the one paying them. The reason that we have a clear-cut independence, I'm not objecting to federation, but not now. let work on decentralized system and make sure that we do all the things that are within the evolution of power as the constitution of South Sudan defines. I so the clear argument, Jack, you want to talk about what is wrong with the current decentralization and devolution of power is because we have a weaker state system. I don't know what make it weak, but there is still a concentration of power at the center, and that will still be there until we have uh, a effective state system that actually understand what the decentralization of power means. Most of the governors that we have now uh, still see the president as the commander of Anyanya or whatever you call it, the SPLA, and they don't see themselves as a separate entities of the government that can actually
Work
say
independently.
here is where the power of the central government remain, and whatever power that is not listed under the central government is a state power. To have a clear separation of power and function within what we call intergovernmental relation, which is not the case in South Sudan. We have a president that can fire you and appoint anybody without holding an election. It's supposed to hold an election every 60 days after you fire the governor, but
I will
it,
take you
it did
back a
not
bit.
happen.
I'll take you back a bit. You know, when CPA was written, and then later CPA transitioned to become what they call or the interim constitution of South Sudan, which was signed on the 3rd of December 2005. Most of the provisions were taken from the CPA, and one of the things that was mentioned was that the concurrent powers were defined. Where is the state and where is the national government? And then by early 2006, 10 constitutions were also drafted, and they also become laws of the particular states. And then it was said that in 4 years' time, powers will then be moved from the national government. One of them was that the judicial system will have to be devolved, and some of the powers will be given to the state, and the court system will have to change, and some of the concurrent powers from the national government and the state government were then going to be changed from what will belong to the national government and what belong to the states. But after 4 years, what was in the document was not implemented. So you will likely say that there was a plan, but nobody is paying attention to the plan. Is that?
Yeah.
Do you think that is correct?
I said before. If you put a governor uh, who don't understand where the separation of power lies within the constitution, they will be causing back to the center.
Mm.
Uh, that's one. But two is also by step from the center uh, to the powers of the state. So something that everybody is aware of. So there is a need to actually define the decentralization system that we have, or to actually implement it the way it is defined in the constitution. That is to respond to my friend South Sudan Horticultural, however you call himself here. He said South Sudan is a centralized under your uncle. Is not my uncle, number one. Number two,
Where is
it
he
is
coming with that?
is there in the comment. Is South Sudan is not centralized based on the constitution that I have in front of me here, or the constitution that I've looked many times. It is defined as a decentralized, the devolution of power.
I think
So,
can he
so
actually participate? These are the people that I like to engage. And actually one day what? Yeah.
Who told you people who don't write their name can
No,
participate in the debate?
no.
Nobody calls South Sudan multicultural country. There's nobody called that. It's just some guy.
Okay,
So
let me ask you
so
questions. There are questions. There are questions that are coming, and we don't need to neglect. Sorry that Prince was suggesting that there was a question by John Akwe. Do you believe government with four vice president, five actually, four vice president can succeed in doing a fair election? That is one. Without a war, that is John Akwe. And then I think the question by Makirma Yomgure might have gone up. And I just want you to see that if you can get that, then you can give them answers because we need them to participate.
I
Makir?
I haven't seen
Okay.
Makir question, but you just said a quick
Okay.
question.
Okay. This is what Makir has, I think. As a PhD researcher in security and conflict studies, what are your proposals and findings for effective disarmament agenda in South Sudan? I got that.
Makir Chavaber on live video. I will have assistance to be published a book.
Okay.
People will read that. So Makir will have a full copy of the entire assistance with me.
Okay.
Where he will find what I think, because it's a tricky kind of writing. The Akwe issue. And a government with four vice presidents is a joke. It's not a government. So whether they will prevent a war and hold a credible election, that's another question. But where on earth, I don't know. In anywhere, I've been a student of government for 11 years. But I don't know, in a country where we have five vice presidents and some presidents, it is a joke, and that's why I think IGAD is actually not serious about peace in South Sudan. Let's talk of election. What will you do with five vice presidents, especially when some of them have an ambition of being president, and you have a president that is not going anywhere? How about if they contest all of them for the presidency, and some of them have appetite of war? They can mobilize whatever youth that they can get at ease. So it is a very delicate situation to Akwe. I can tell him that having five vice presidents is a joke. And what will happen after 3 years from now cannot be predicted. It will depend with the behavior of this five vice president and the president himself.
Now,
So that's how I look at it.
Now let's go to a funny question. Alex Diwal once wrote, I don't know whether you have seen his cartoon, and he was saying that by the time that he published this cartoon, he was saying that South Sudan got more generals than all the U.S. Army combined, from Navy, Air Force, and everything. And recently, I don't know whether you are aware, a civilian is taken from, I think Riek Machar started it with people like, with some general, from civilian, promoted from being civilian to lieutenant general. And then recently in Juba, you can see advisors, Tutkeo, become a general. Another civilian become general. The question is, do they understand the implications that come with this in terms of pension later? Let's just say that I'm looking at the economic impact of all this. I'm not looking at the history, but the economic impact of this. That these people one day will come back to the country, whether President Kiir is still there or whoever is still there, and they will be demanding that they are entitled based on their titles. Are they paying attention to this?
Well, let us start with the pension. You and I work. I work, you work. and we get pension based on what you put in
What do
there.
you do and what do you put
Okay.
in there?
So it will be a question of a debate. At the end of the day, if you rock up today as a civilian in our village, and then you run to some bushes, and then you rock up with the rank of lieutenant general, and all of a sudden you retire tomorrow, and you think that you need a pension of about $2 million, that would be the question of people to answer whether you are entitled to that pension or not. Let's go to the question of Alec Diwal. My disagreement with Diwal, I am a critic of Diwal in writing. Diwal see everything in terms of economy. When he talk about war, when he talk about whatever, Diwal see it in terms of economy, which I agree in part. I believe Diwal is good scholar, and most of his writing are okay. My disagreement with him is that not every rebellion in South Sudan is entirely economic. So and he tied them up to be economic. So that is the wild part. On the generals, this general, I cite one of his writing when he wrote something in 2018. He said South Sudan was having about 740 rank general. Okay, 740 rank general, which is way or more than what the United States have. Diwal was saying is almost equivalent to what the former Soviet Union used. So yes, he's right on that contact. But the issue of being a general in South Sudan has become so cheap because people appoint themselves generals. That's it. I do know people that are still major generals, and they joined war when I was not born, and they're still major generals. And there are people who become four-star generals, a full general, for just about 3 years ago. So compare that.
I,
Somebody, somebody who joined the SPLA when I was not born, and is still a brigadier general. Some are even colonels, and majority of them are major generals if they were educated. And you have how many of them with the rank of a general? I'm not talking about major general again. With the rank of a full general, we just rock up as generals. That is self-appointing. And that goes back to the question of security before. Can those people discharge the work of a general? That's the question that you need to ask. When you're gonna have a secure country where the law enforcement discharge the law, because it's not pretty much about enforcing the law. There's what we call security governance as well. Is the people inside the security function need to be governed by the rule of the law themselves. They need to follow the law. Each and every law discharge need to be discharged within the confine of the government.
now,
So you have somebody
you, you, you,
who is a general who make himself a general. So how are they going to discharge your role? That's the question.
now, okay, you as a person who has done political studies, that means you have a bit of history when it comes to issues happening in South Sudan. When the war started, or when the Torit Revolution started in 1955, and then when the Anyanya movement and various other revolutions started in 1975, either in Okobo and then in 1983 in Bor. One of the main things that was cited by the South Sudanese was that the government in the north was not inclusive. The government in the north, there was no secularism in the country, and that there was marginalization of the South Sudanese. And until now, even though this was a political strategy to fight the war, I'm not yet able to get a politician who can tell me the differences between what the North used to do or the politicians in the north used to do, and what is happening now in the South Sudan, not only with the government, but with the politicians. What is the difference? If in case that's just, you can not answer that if you do, if you feel like, but what is the difference?
Well, I would say there's no different. Here's what I would say. There's a book I read that talk about the political belly. The political belly is about it was a portrayal of how the post-colonial African leaders assume the role that used to be done by the colonial masters. And when the colonial masters left, they appoint themselves the neo-colonists, and then they colonize their subject. That would be the people under their rules. Uh, as in the history of what I've read about Sudan and the war, the protest of South Sudanese was based on that. That the North assumed the role of British and they become a new colonizers. So war was based on. But the question that you are asking now, whether we construct the alternative to what we were fighting, the answer is no. We haven't. We just actually create a North under different flag, and we pretty much function worse than they used to. That's what I can say in terms of political leaders.
But the argument, because this is one of the main issues now that we are dealing with, because I've talked to many politicians, and they will say, at least, yes, we got our own country. And I said, come on, what are we getting from our own country that
Well,
you think that, what are we getting?
Well, the mistake that a lot of people are missing is that they make it sound as if we were just fighting to have a sovereign borders drawn. I don't believe it was a case where people were fighting to get a country that will give them service and a lot of other things that they were accusing us of denying them. So if it is because then we were in a united with the flag and used to live
You're cutting,
receiving
your network is cutting. I don't know why. Your network is cutting. Yep.
Okay. And now we have a country. That is public, yes, I understand. I'm a South Sudanese. I wear a flag here. But that was not the main issue. It was about the discharging of responsibilities of the sovereign. Because sovereignty, at the end of the day, it is a responsibility. It is not just we have a sovereign state. So what? You have, what do people get out of it? Because sovereignty, and unless it is a responsibility, then it is useless. Do I think that we don't deserve it? Yeah, we deserve it. We should have it. But can we make it better? The answer is yes. So for people who are confusing the sovereignty and what the government can do, they are two different things.
Now, okay. Now, in that context, the biggest issue that we are struggling with as a South Sudanese is that we were talking about the North was not able to develop our roads. And that's why Dr. John can be quoted when he said in 2005 that my village don't have a tarmac road. I've never seen a tarmac road, if I can paraphrase, since Adam and Eve were created. What until now, that the same village that he came from is yet to see the construction of the tarmac road. Almost how many years later? More than 50, almost 15 years later. And the question also comes, people were saying, okay, we are independent. I celebrated too. I and you, we woke up 2 a.m. to take a bus to go and collect people to make sure that they go and vote. That was me and you. we were driving a bus across Melbourne to make sure that people go to vote. So we are also, we can say that we technically play our part, that we have helped the people of South Sudan to vote and to get the right of self-determination. Yes, if you remember very well, majority of the people who came to the voting booth very early in the morning were people from Unity State. Particularly, they were nowhere and they were so excited. Okay, all of us were very, very, very excited. We need unity. We need our country to be okay. But the country that people need is the country that give you services, so that you can be able to, services including security, so that you can go to Bargazal or wherever you want to go and do your business. This was the complaint that was raised in 1983. Now it is still being raised. Whose problem is it? Is it a Riek Machar problem or is it Kir problem? Because they were parties to the government before.
Well, there is some time a good cause can be clouded by internal political division, and I believe the division within the SPLM as a movement, and now as a ruling party are relevant, are evident. There are documented rivalries and even conflict, and those used to happen during the war. Those things are still happening until today, and they are affecting the ability to lead to a governing of a country. Because nobody can control the rivalry between the leaders unless we have an enlightened political situation.
Now, okay.
or a population to say.
Now, okay, wait now. Now, wait, Maria. Now I know who is actually the South Sudan multicultural. I now know who is he, and Brother Charles, I think I need to address you now clearly. The last time that I invited you to the show, we were able to talk respectfully, even though you are from, you have your political opinion, and we were able to approach things respectfully and also debate without attacking each other. But the way you have, now that I know you, the way you have behaved is not a responsible way at all. And that is not how national issues are discussed. I need you to listen to this. Now that I know is you, Charles, and I thought it would be good before to give you a chance to talk and to be able to air out what you think will be the best way, since you are a member of the SPLM-IO. But why would I reward a behavior that is unacceptable? Politics are not discussed by attacking people. The guest that I have here, first of all, is not a politician. He's not a politician in the field. He's an academic who is here to analyze the situation. And it should be you, many of you are actually members of the political parties, should realize that South Sudan will not be peaceful by abusing each other or even by attacking each other or by shooting at each other. South Sudan only can be a peaceful state when people discuss issues respectfully, people disagree respectfully, and make sure that we will disagree and then agree again. So to make things, I will not reward you today. I'm sorry. I will not reward you. That is not the way. No, now that I know you, I will not reward a behavior that does not understand. You are in Canada. You are in a Western world. And civility is one of the things that make this some of this Western world to be developed. Civility is a behavior that is needed in the political arena for one to succeed. I hope I'm not going to reward you regardless of the opinion that you got. Go ahead, Maria.
What was the question? The South Sudan guy is It's
Yes,
annoying.
look into some of the question that you can, and then we can go. I now know the guys. Guys, I will not reward him. I'm not going to give him a chance. Go ahead. Look at the question that you can answer, and then we can see who to bring on here.
Mm. Okay. There's something here
Ma,
about holding an
ma,
election in 6 days.
Mariar Mayan was asking, Mang Mayan was asking, Mariar, do we expect another war after the period of peace agreement expired? And will the agreement be renewed in your view? That is the
Well, unless if the agreement would be renegotiated, but in current they cannot be renewed. Will it take us to the ending period, which is 3 years? I would yes, I can be wrong. But if you say, will there be a war after the end of the interim period that we have or the transition that we have now? It is a probability. Nobody can rule it out because unless we have a stability within the political discourse among the SPLA cadres or among the political cadres in South Sudan to generalize them, then there will be a chance of war because we have an environment where you can disagree and join and go to your village and recruit people at will. And because they are already armed, you will not be struggling with where they get armed. And then you can start your mini war, some kind of small war in your village, and then you can destabilize the situation. That can be described as war. So the war between communities also can be described as war, given the scale of how our people are armed now. They are fighting at a rate that is not normal. And even though politicians are not fighting, the war will continue going because the civilian will continue to attack themselves with the heavy machineries and all that.
And
So the
great
question of war is not out of question.
another great question there from Jangdit. The question is how will nationalism be poached within South Sudan, and looking at the tribalism, which is actually become a culture now. And I could even hear, as an addition, I heard people talking of ethnic federal system, where they invited the Ethiopians to come and lecture them about their system, and then they decline. Go ahead. Will nationalism come where they?
Well, the nationalism is pushed on different occasions. You first of all, you need people to not think most of the time about where they come from. If you have people that behave as Dinka and Nuer, Chuluk and all that, and that is the threshold of their political decision making, you'll be struggling to build a inclusive nationality. Another way to do it, to actually provide that rigid stand, is to have a better system of governance at the center and also the state system to have equitable distribution of power and resources.
Another question from Akwanchai is asking you, what do you think of the SPLMIO leadership?
What do I think about the SPLMIO leadership?
Yeah.
It is a system that is actually looking for power, like the way the people in government actually holding the status quo on power. The people in government need to maintain power. The SPLAIO are people who are looking for power. That's how I look at it. There is no alternative that they are giving. They are fighting to get to the power, to share the spoil of the resources that are in Juba. That's how I look at it. Is there an alternative that they bring along? No. The answer is no. Do their argument make sense? Yeah. But is the practice translate into the ideas that some of the leaders say? The answer is no. And that's why we have a vice president that actually have his wife as a deputy, as a minister of defense. Where should that happen? As a president and your vice president
And,
and your wife, the minister of defense. It is
even
a it is an employment strategy rather than a change strategy. I would call it. I'm sorry, they will not like it, but that's how I can say.
and that is a very interesting the very interesting point that you have put. First of all, I recognize that Angelina Tang is a citizen and is entitled to be employed by anybody, by anywhere. But the question,
Not his
but no, but let me come here. Let me come. I'm not. Let me come to the point of the argument that was made by Dr. Riek in 2013 and 2014. He was accusing President Kiir of being undemocratic. He was not a Democrat. But if you look at the people who have come back from the SPLMIO, from Gadhoth to now Dakwet, and majority of other and Taban Dengai, one of the main things that they are citing is that Riek, as a chairman of the SPLMIO, is not also democratic. And recently, you can see after CDR, as he was known, Kong Chol, when he defected, he also said that the system was actually led by one family. So how is Riek going to survive politically when these heavyweight are leaving him for Kiir?
Here is my take. The key tenet of a Nasser faction in 1991 was that Dr. John was undemocratic. My understanding of a democracy is that you have to have a law that is actually govern a democracy in order to function. You need to have an elected parliament, 3 branches of government, to hold each other accountable concurrently. When you accuse somebody of not being democratic in a liberation war without a parliament, nothing, I don't think that your understanding of democracy is actually sufficient. So that is one. So democracy is a pretext used by so many fighters in Africa, the liberation movement that are fighting, who said, yeah, because we are waging a war to liberate our people from this and that, because the other party is not democratic. Museveni said that he stayed in power for how many years? He's still there. Mugabe said that he stayed in power for that long. The president of Eritrea said that he's still there. Bashir overthrew the elected government, accusing them of not being democratic. It's a dictatorship till he himself was overthrown. So that's to come back to the question of Riek Machar, whether is it democratic? He's not. It is a pretext. The word democracy is used as a pretext. And that also is the president himself, the president of our country. Nobody will say he's democratic. He's not. But most of the time, democracy is what best with you. You can just sit on your own place and say, I am democratic, or I'm fighting for a democratic change. And then when you go to the actual function, if you read Adwok Jibak, War of Liberation,
yes,
the politics of liberation rather, you see how he actually assaulted this Riek Machar guy, only to follow him again. If it is in a country where people hold each other accountable now, somebody will read his book and call him to answer some questions.
No, but he will not be he will not be the only one. The same thing people like.
Yeah, well, at least he wrote it. He is an scholar. Lema said that. Adwang Nibak said that. Rest of the guys say that.
And
okay.
And this brings us to the you are a politician. You are a politician because of your studies. This brings us to the understanding what is wrong with the politicians in South Sudan when self-contradiction or contradicting yourself in every step become a culture. That is what is happening, whether they are in SPLM or whatever, SPLM United, SPLM what, and SPLM what. There are a lot of contradictions. People sometimes say what they don't know and later do a different thing. Is that a political issue or is it an individual way of seeing things?
They actually know what they do. I disagree with the idea that they don't know what they do. They know what they do. We call it a violent bargaining. Uh, a violent bargaining because there are people that cannot win through a consensual politic. What do? You go to some of your youth and senior electricity and tell them that the Dinka is doing this or the Nuer is doing this or is doing this, and when when we end up taking with the government, let's say, the cars that the people are driving or the cars that the Nuer people are driving or all that, these are youth in the villages who know nothing. What they usually know, what they just know is gun, and they will fall to what we call an ethnic trap. They'll pick up a gun on that, and they will fight you political war. Who will be not you? And what keep president power, what bring vice president to power, and each and every now in power. It is about a manipulation and a violent competition for power.
Now, let me
so
go.
They actually know what they do.
Let me go to a question asked by my friend Otor from Otor is asking that where is this question? I have a question to Marial. Since his doctorate is in security and conflict, let me put that on the screen for you to see. And what is?
I think the South Sudanese guy will be sleeping tonight. He's so upset. He's mad.
No, leave him. Leave him. Okay, what Tori is saying, I have a question, and then okay. the whole thing is on the screen there. So, are you able to read it?
No, I see.
Okay, let me read it to you. Is that
you can read it?
Okay. The question is, where is the? It's taking long to display. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's here. I see it.
Okay.
I have a question. Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay, he's asking that what have you made any proposal to the government because the whole country is bleeding. A total peace is needed.
Yeah. I can see. Did he?
Are you listening?
Question disappeared.
Can you hear me? Is it just saying that have you, since your studies are in security and conflict, have you made any proposal to the government because the country is bleeding and peace is needed?
I would say no, not a great stage of meeting somebody like a president or some other thing.
Okay. Now,
but I started at a micro level.
Now, okay, let me talk to this person by Arabic Juba. Charles asma kalam tayina. Fi yom daga nina kalam ana kalam mak ita dadar kan kalam Arabic Juba kan desma. Ajar junub be Sudan de ma be kalam be go. Siyasa al gadu kalam be go de yaw jib muchakal. Dadar kan kalam Arabic Juba algi kalam be go de yaw jib muchakal fi junub Sudan. Ini asa ita kan mumkin gibel teji and have a chance can to kalam be kalamita there to gulda. Lekin kalamita be setima de mun be sibek can teji to kalam. Ma fi zol. So keep aje de kalamu inak lekin ma ana ma be jibek. Lano itu nasal guiding barada ya jama lazim. You have shows. You got your own shows. I can see you guys are always yelling at each other. For 7 years, you are yelling at each other and you have not solved anything. And I don't want to make my show. My show is not for yelling. I would have started yelling long time ago, right? I want people to learn when I have the show here. So keep yelling. Enough. This is not an activist page, right? I want somebody to learn from my speaker. Like if somebody is coming to yell or abuse anybody, no, you are not welcome on my space. Understand? We have to be mature enough when discussing issues to do with the society, right? So I don't want to block you, but I just want to tell you, yeah, civility is a culture. Since you are a politician, no, he's a brigadier general, by the way. So,
Is it? No, it's not.
he's a brigadier general.
No. Okay. Maybe.
Mr. Brigadier General in Canada. He is in Canada and he's Brigadier General. I met somebody in Melbourne Center the other day and he was telling me that he's now what? I don't know how many stars are for Ajade. Above Brigadier General, what come after it?
It's called Major General.
Okay, Gal is a major general and he's working in a factory, and he's a major general and he's a double guard.
All right.
Eh?
All right. There is a question here by McQuaid and Grable brought it up. I haven't seen it. He said, "What is behind the defection of the SPLAIO to the SPLMIG?" I thought I talked about that before. It is about you miss opportunity here, you run there to get some more opportunity. And I have to tell to whoever that asked the question, that will not be the last defection that you see. They will defect to the IO. IO will be still an entity. You will see some people who are defecting now, defecting back when they think that there is opportunity arise over there. It is just about job hunting. I would say that.
Okay, now I think if you can put your last statement, and then I'll see who to you bring on again. But I just want to give you a message of appreciation. You know that I'm always proud of you, and
well,
let me finish. I just want then you will take over. I just want to let you know that I'm always proud of you and keep doing what you do best. And I just want people to, if you want to talk to this gentleman, you will learn much. He may be young, but see him on the basis that he's a learned person, and you will be able to approach a story. I've known him for more than 15 years now, or almost more than 15 years. So I think learn from each other. So go ahead, Mariadit.
All right. I would understand English. I don't know where I rub him wrong way. The tenet of politics is this, my friend, South Sudanese Multicultural Channel, if that's how you call yourself. If can argue most of the time to be civil. I'm saying whatever I say today is a good.
I don't know. It's cutting. You cutting. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's cutting. The network become bad now. I don't know why.
You getting me now?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. What I was telling South Sudanese guy online here is that what I was saying, I'm not claiming it to be a full truth. Nobody has knowledge for everything that is going on in the country. You can know what you know today, and it can change differently tomorrow. So you can but uh, you cannot be so violent and insulting.
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry. Yep, go ahead. The
so
network.
that's what I can say.
Okay.
My final contact in term of my work, my sisters is I am focusing on disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, which is talking about arm controlling. One particular thing that I can about that because my sisters is a confidential thing is that we have a successful disarmament in South Sudan unless we have absolute control over the flow of arms. It is not about collecting them, it is about controlling them. If we don't control arms, we will not have a successful disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. And within that context, we might not have a proper security sector of what we call SSR. If each and every civilian is armed or anybody who need a gun can have a gun, then the state will lose control. And at current stage, I believe we have a state that is not in charge of the monopoly. While each and everybody is armed, they are running around with with their gun. So we have work to do in terms of security sector. And it's not an easy work. It will need a lot of us. It will need a lot of knowledge. It will need investment. It will need commitment. And that will take me and the rest of the people who want to do it. And then maybe we can do our contribution to the safety of our people. So thank you for listening. You guys have been there, and thank you very much. And we'll catch you sometime. For who is personally, you can
Network is becoming a big issue.
solve me as you want. I have no problem.
Okay, Mariadi, thank you so much, and we'll talk later, and
All
I'll make
right.
sure that.
So have a good night to the people.
Oh, network is becoming a problem. Mariadi, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know you.
Okay, I think I can hear you now. Okay, thank you. Good night, and thank you for the time that we spent, guys. We will come back next time, and we will also put in a lot of making sure that some people participate, and even today I will be able to allow one person after him, and then we can call it a day. And thank you so much, Mariadit, and we meet again and talk to you later.
Wait, so this guy is writing here, man. I don't think it's right.
You can keep you can you can join now and go right there. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me see who I can bring on here. Hello, and look, thank you. I just want to thank you all of you for being part of this great show, and the intention for putting this together was to give you an highlights of how things are happening now in South Sudan, and I'm happy to bring those who are able to discuss things from the right perspective, but not this concept of blame game and looking at problem in all angles. The problem of South Sudan now, as we are, is not a one-man problem. It is a collective. It is a collective problem, and it will be a very crucial for all of us always to have the better understanding of how things work. Sorry. And it is very important that we pay a lot of attention to how things are, not just assume that everybody who is talking is of a certain tribe, like Charles was doing, or is of a certain political ideology. That was not why we were here. And we just we were here to discuss issues that can be of great benefit to all South Sudanese. So itu nazal kan direct bada mushakil zai Charles da ma kullu zoli ya ubita hukuma ya Charles ita lazim tasma ma opposition ta kun da itu ga tamul bai sika ta ne ma ya ha itu gul zol kullu sai de itu gul lo zol kullu gal lo lanu lo denka ita guta gibel lo denka manatu he cannot give analysis. Or is it because he's young? Itu zadu itu. Siasa bitakunda ma kwes. Mata jibu zaida. An ma jibu ita alela. Yoma tani. Ha? An ma jibu ita alela. Lanu ta maltu kalta bata lazim ta amula apology. Le nasita setam tu mini gibel. Ma siasa ma gada mulube mushakali ya Charles. Ita malu. Fi siyasa ga mulbe mushakil muta guta yom da finas fi tamish fi junub yala tamish de ma you cannot fight tamish be sila tamish lazim tugule zol da kita fi tamish ga yasel yala tamish de ya mulke you have to reach the proper understanding. So you have to. Okay, now is there somebody there? You guys, there is the telephone before. You can call a messenger. Then I can go. So congratulations to Ajak. So my Arabic is improving. Yeah. Arabic galabiga kwezi ajam. Arabu gulu oye lo Arabi bitapiga kwez anabu kala Arabi kwez I can Arabi bitapiga gisa nasga desma fi Juba Arabi bita geng da ya jamaa ana nyanya jabuna fi SPLA yala yali muna fi mal white ma fi Arabic school. And then you are now given a condition to learn by your own. Can I tell you a story while I'm... Malwal Bodanya, let me tell you a funny story before I invite another person. Defi Polotaka in 1991. Jabu Weletani isimu Lodongi, is from Lotuko. And, in Bor, Jabunas, majority of the boys were from Bor and Mundari. The Mundari don't know how to speak Arabic. The Lotuko boys who came to Polotaka speak a bit of Arabic. The Nubian boys that came to Polotaka were classic Arabic speakers. Katir min al-jain pi borde, majority of us were from Mura. And then here is now. This is the problem now. I remember a day. And, I grew up in Juba, so I used to speak Arabic. And then I went to the village and stayed there for 7 years. I lost it. I could not even speak a single word. Fi dak al begulo most. I only understand that banana ya begulo most. Oh, I don't know by the rudder blade is called most. So, and remember it was difficult that time. When you have a part of the rudder blade, then you will think that, that's a good one. You will be using it to cut your hair. Now I have this small part. Lodongi took it. And I was asking these boys, these Dinka speakers, where can you who took my most? Who took my rate? That was the idea. That was the word. And then they said, Lodongi chalo. Anaguta yaki Lodongi? Lodongi chalo, let me go to Lodongi, anaguta ya Lodongi. Lodongi ana dere rate betai. gal ya ja kana ma indi ita gul gal red betang ma indi ana guta ya lo dongi ita ana ma der foda jibo red betai da na der wasa gal ya ja kana ma indi red betak ya ke der in dugba ya bunia ta wala bunia betalo dongi bunia betai ya dak ja gam gali tu malkum der ti chakelu malu ana guta u chalu red betai ulo donga gala ma indi red betaw yala gala ya lo dongi ma indi mus betaw gala ay wa indi ana chiltu mus betaw giben mine deng pi wad wala tani sumo deng gali ya u gadu gul rede ya u rede ya u most. That was the bad day of Arabi Juba. So we were conditioned to speak the language that we don't even know. So no, we Finas the people who understand it. So now, guys, I have to go unless somebody is ready to come in. They okay. Let me check my Skype. If you want to come in on Skype, use that Skype on the screen. Otherwise, on Messenger, then I can close the show, and then next time we can do it again. Okay, let me. Okay. Oh, okay. Guys, I think there is. I'm not. Anamavi Jibu Charles. So I just want to thank you guys for your time, and I want to go away this because I've just got a okay. Charles, Anna Guta Givela, I cannot reward. Anna Guta Givela, I'm not rewarding you. No, I refuse. I'm not rewarding you unless you come up, unless you apologize first. And I don't reward anarchy. No, I'm not. I'm not going to reward you now, Charles. Or do you guys think that I can bring him on? I think Charles was looking for attention to bring, just to be brought on to the show. But there is no point of you being aggressive on people when you are actually a mature person discussing politics. Let me bring him on. Charles.
Ya Jack.
Charles, kada ita maluta gar sitim jana da maindu muke.
Ana ma sitimu sitimu gidan rabona.
Ita sitimu ke. Ita gulu wo uncle beto wo min win.
Ma min din kamal da.
Wo min dinka kalas makalas ita akubita ajada ita akubita bita obote mamur. So he is your uncle, is it?
He's not my uncle.
No, we might have guta givele kiru uncle beto.
Yeah, my elder brother is almost his the. He cannot be my uncle.
No, he's your uncle. Uncle de mama de kalat waninga.
Uncle.
network.
Kenya culture, Comrade Ajak.
Huh?
Your culture.
No, Kala, let's finish there. Then you have to apologize openly. That they are careless. Yeah, itu they are kan South Sudan multicultural. They are careless. Ana can ita gute they uncle beta. What were you arguing about? When are you defecting? Huh? Network bitang malu ya Charles. Ana network. Network taki mutu. Ita jere. Ita jere. Network kaman. Network huh? Network Arabu ita gi jama izaj ya wogebo kada. Hey. Ya Charles malu sei. Network bitaki de.
Ajak, are you there?
Ana fi
Okay, mana majere ana bijere le.
ma yala maluma gis an ma gis mituta.
Sana bitashen. Sana bitajuba.
Huh? Mata
Ana gulita bukola internet yake.
Mata no when ita abada okay. Ita abada ajade. Ita abada kalam ita kalam ketir de ita abada okay. Magibel kan teji traki
Mata Ajak mata gula ajede ato.
Ma ita ita bada for the gibel ita jibu ita set munas. Yala general gisit munas general bita ayo.
Anna we are disciplined soldiers.
Yala maluta ga sit ma yet bita gisit barao yala kasumpi. Ita
No ita ongaga beka. Kun English barao.
English sana. Kalas, welcome to the show. When are you defecting?
You are repeating the second time. Forget that. It will not happen. I'm not like Tom Fing. No, not Tom Fing.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yes, bye.
Alayo gi jere demon gi sibu hotel bitomon yala mon jere yala momon kulu gi jere ma hotel bitomon wala gi lisa gi numbi hotel wide lo jere pi min ayo wala jere min hukuma.
Then question asado le marial match ali special.
No, wo ma jere ke ma deitu ya jere. Itu mumkin ita asa ita
expert.
Ita ya uga di chupa asa ita der lo de wane gore de lo ado gore ya bishirita wala de munu yala ta bijere yala itu gisi buru yang Machar wen.
Mutu mariak Machar. Anna be mutu mariak Machar.
Yala say ya Charles, if you can go ahead. Itu asa naske tira general at kulu al kaninde kumde general al fi Juagaba al fi Australia general fi Juagaba fi Canada uje general tan fi Juagaba fi USA wal kulu jara fi bede yala mon machi Mariang Machar machi sibur yang Machar fi hotel yala jara mon kan ga di shakla jan junuyan what
asma Euro Lake State the whole state jere ma bada ajede Ajak Deng. What are you talking about? The Nazo Miaja Kole Minase Inak. What are you talking about?
Gali yerul jere. Indi can I tell you what? Bella dana guide for good. It is even family bitana Tilar. Ito guta yerul jere de yerul wen. There is no community bemchi mazolo ita guta gule kamsa na General Marial Bong Maishe, ma Maishe. O jere le wen. Lo Tilar de Maishe. o gal jere le wen lo tuko kulu jere wala ajere ajere Eastern Equatoria wala Central Equatoria kulu jere zamani tu masheta ayo
asa ma that is owned by Ayo because some of our members fees and Equator de kulu Ayo.
Zainal munu yala
But let's zato chief brigadier ambassador Ayo minister
yala obota mamur malugat fi Juba lo ayo kulu fi Eastern Equatoria
mama zato Ayo tutu
ai network beta gigata kada gule ayo network beta kada gule kada ya network woge mumkin bes ma
ada network tagaba
ita de tu ga monyu Equatoria num ita sei itu amule Charles ita siti mujana deke tir
I want to correct him. Mana magisi timu.
Wo ma pi Ajak batalu kalamu. Wo fi ne kanga kalamu.
Omar Tarek. I agree with you. Omar best, but he should consult.
No. What has he said wrong?
Okay. Get some research from people and give him good history.
By the way, can I tell you what? He's doing his PhD about South Sudan. So you should.
We are proud of.
No, you should not even think about when it comes to what he knows. He was giving facts. And I don't know where are you getting your facts.
What facts?
Okay, now go after him. What did he say
South
wrong?
South Sudan currently is a centralized system of government. Gal decentralized. It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean by where are you getting your? It's me who said that. Where are you getting your references?
Yeah, brother. Ma the video they can anything and then link.
No, it's me who said it. It's me who said it that South Sudan is a decentralized system. Where are you getting your reference about the word centralized?
No, he says it's decentralized. He said decentralized.
I'm
listening.
I am the one who said it. I was referencing.
Brother,
no, listen.
I respect you.
Asmani, I am the one who said it, and I was referencing CPA and the interim constitution of South Sudan 2005.
He can say it.
Okay.
And then I can even still what you stamp. Even though I didn't write them, but I still remember what he said.
No, you criticize. Yawana guta itamanum gibel bilel.
Anaja min shokola sare.
I then they are with amanum. Ita fini kandisa gari sugu. Ita samito kalamto. They ana ya okala mugalu decentralized system according to these documents. Dema wo you ita siti muwo circuit.
Ajak yin jene mate mau.
Yeah, Charles, you are just here to come and disturb me. I don't want you to give me out. I don't want to chala.
Ole ini dek mache ajere echak.
Yeah, it was even like it beja. It was sitting was socket. It was sitting was socket. Oh, jana de makal maja batal. It finish.
No, Asma. We are proud of we are proud of such to be a future leader of the country. But we need to equip them with the history that reflect our history. Yeah, brother.
I matter who is calling this? Who is calling? Somebody is disturbing us here. I don't know who is calling. This network is. Go ahead. Is you talking? The mana.
Again, girl, don't pretend, girl. You don't know who is calling.
No, I will bring him on, but then can you apologize to him?
Ana kana muljerima sunu.
Ita muljerima ke ita sete mu ita masa midu ma ita fini jafi shokol General Gardnum yala General Jakatipu. Ita fini kan mumkin to numu gibel yala tesma da jaga agulu kalamze de mana. De ma jana dak. Ita sete mu wosa.
Ana there zato Asma. Ana there will apologize to the people of South Sudan. And is in particular listen, Managonso. in particular to the people in the POC. God, the people in the POC, they are there just to get food.
Oh my God, you are just putting word into his mouth.
Ajak,
oh,
in, but that's what I say, in Tekmon. Chapping, Magaliba Dinka, BG chapping.
Yeah, Charles, who girls are there?
Yes.
Who girls are there?
Yala. Then you ask a question, Asma. You ask a question to him. And then he contradicted. Galiak, these people, they cannot go to their home because there's insecurity. They have been killed. Their house is destroyed. You see how the confusion the PhD holders.
No. He was referencing. Listen to me. He was referencing those who are the POCs are not just because they are in Juba. There are areas where people don't have services. But you know it also. You are well aware that in Juba, some of the people come out. Nobody blocked them. Are you aware of that?
This is what he said.
No,
he said these people can come to town, but the mistake he did, God, these people are there just, they need food.
No, Asmani. Yeah, Charles. This is why you are losing a political argument in your own camp. Not you, but it was Sindel. In the no, let me talk to you now as a politician, Charles. Itu awal nas al Karab Junub Sudan. Awal nas al Karab Junub Sudan. Desi yasin. O isim tolo dongi wala isim to Charles wala isim to deng wala galwak. Itu yau ga te Karab Junub Sudan. Awalan chan teji to gulay asa lo teji to gulay. How many months? Ita kan guide ma Taban Denga fi SPLMIO. Taban Denga has been in Juba for more than 3 years. Mas jabu motanin del bara fi UN camp. Riyang Machar asa mashi kam sharinak. There is no policy that he and President Kiir join hands to make sure that civilians are out of the camp. There is you people are you are just after titles and there is
Asma, Ajak, how will the civilians, the PC who run for their safety and for their security come to the public or to Juba when the security arrangement is not being secured? It's not been implemented. And this is what I expected from the young PhD holder is specializing in
how do you expect both parties to agree when there are people defecting from
when the unified forces are deployed?
No, listen to me.
And
when you are you have SPLM Betakir, they have disagreement within their own camp. Some people are defecting to Riek Machar, like Telara and Kogroy. And then from Riek Machar, Doug Bishop, CDR, who led the war, is defecting to Kir Mayadit. Where is the political platform here?
That's what we are saying, comrade. Listen, I agree with you here. Am I?
And Mark.
This is where you as me as a journalist, this is where we can, focus. And I always say, if you watch my show, the issue of defection should be stopped. No party in the agreement should accept any defection because it is a violation of the agreement. Am I?
Mark.
Yes. It is a violation of the agreement.
Okay.
But as the Indina, we have thousands of people. We have over thousands of people. We don't announce them. I'll get it back for Ayo. You know that?
Asmani galita machile ita kunde anamunu. You heard me before talking about what the government failed.
No, is a journalist. I'm a journalist. You're a journalist.
Yeah, you are a politician. You are not a journalist. You are a politician.
I'm a journalist.
No, I know by profession, but you have you and other politicians as the Nyalu Bola can have joined political parties. You are politicians. So you should not actually consider
But
yourself.
you also you become a politician. You know that?
I'm not a politician. I've never been.
You look. I ask you a question that you should give a Marial to answer. You keep quiet as if you are blind. Edekmo, why are you laughing?
I just realized that you need to be entertained. Ruanum Kalas.
Asma, Ajak, you pretend like the journalist in the Sudan TV. Basado Kalaman Besir Oka. You for you keep quiet. You don't read.
Malo daja deke Charles. Lode kalampare gyala ba why do I need to answer lode kalampare? Ma besat.
Are you there?
Ana fi ana ma jere inta yaw da jere. Ita da jere. Jere ja. Oh ita.
Hello.
Ana fi ita yaw jere.
Ana fi ama jere. Ana gulu.
Ruanum.
Ajak. No, I'll give you an example. You behave like a journalist from Khartoum. You know, he was asking a question of Basir. He doesn't want, the question was very sensitive, both on the current government and on Basir. Yala, the journalist is asking him. He's keeping. I ask you a question to give Ajak. I said,
Marial,
we have committed genocide against the people of South Sudan. Will he bring any change after looting the national resources? You pretend it's quiet.
Charles, I don't need to debate you on that issue because one thing I want to, why I don't need to debate you on that.
That is security and conflict.
No, let me come to this. Let me come to this. Well, I don't want to debate you on that issue of coal looting resources of South Sudan until you have to convince yourself. Who are you going to throw that word to when it comes to South Sudan? Number one, when South Sudan oil money was booming from 2005, 2006, to 2007, 2008, until 2013, who were the leaders of South Sudan? It was
okay.
Listen
but
to me.
Why did Salva Kiir not publish this name so that we know the leaders who corrupted the $4 billion?
Let me finish here.
Okay.
The available statistic is saying that the biggest spenders of the government of South Sudan, the biggest spenders in the government were the office of the vice president, which is Dr. Riek Machar, and the office of the president. So if you follow these politicians, and if you are becoming a politician yourself, you need
Dr. Rekamul Kanu is Buruasaka.
No. Let me
now
finish.
No.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to go to Baburuasaka. I'm talking to you on the basis of experience. I'm not a propagandist. I'm somebody who is well informed.
Please, can you give me one? I want to pick something here. One second, okay?
Okay, so.
1 second.
I think, guys, let me correct this gentleman. I want to let him know something. You know, they become, in South Sudan, where people become propagandists and people speak just because of what they heard. So, okay, wait. Hit a win. Oh, Charles, ita pin gi. O pin num. Okay, let me.
Hi, hello.
I want Charles. Another Nemchi, I want to tell you this. I want to attend another thing, but let me tell you this, Charles. Itu.
Ita kasumana?
Anagasma as.
Aye.
Another guleki shunaya Charles. Let me tell you from the perspective of let's try to be truthful and to be realistic. You know, I've watched a lot of shows. where you sometimes host them and people like the ambassador Jawin and the rest of the people. And one of the things that become a theme of talking is always looking at a weaker part of who to blame. But that is not how you are supposed to approach South Sudanese issues. You need to understand that majority of the political stakeholders in South Sudan, whether they are from the G10, whether they are from the government, whether they are from SPLMIO, they have played a major role, be it negative in the country. And there is data to tell you that.
It be also a positive.
Listen to me. Be it, I'm saying, be it negative or positive, you can take it as you can take. When you are going to select one of them and think that one is an angel and the other one is satanic, then you are not being realistic. You are not. So one thing that you need to understand is that until a certain point, President Kiir and Riek Machar were friends and were the leaders of the country. What have they done together? Nothing. And
it's not about nothing.
Nothing.
To give, in the Bible, God give what belongs to Jesus, give him, and what belongs to God, give him.
Let me
Please be honest.
I know where to. So when you come and say that because you agree with Riek Machar, you think that Kiir is the worst one, I have to tell you this. Kiir is not. It's not. Riek Machar is not the worst one. Kiir is not the worst one. They are not worse.
Who is the worst? Who is the worst?
There is nobody worse and there is nobody good. You have to decide.
That's the asthma, Ajak. That's the confusion of people who say they are neutral. If you cannot see the bad part, then it's like you see something wrong, then you don't see it.
What now? The question is, why would you consider Kiir worse than Riek, or why would you consider Riek worse than Kiir? In what way?
Okay, good. Thank you. I will answer that. Why I consider Salva Kiir as worse?
Yes.
He's a leader who failed our nation.
Oh.
After getting independent, of South Sudan, Salva Kiir initiated genocide in our history of our new nation. He killed thousands of innocent citizens.
Wait.
On December 15th,
Charles.
Up to the end of that month, it was a deadly and very unacceptable killing of our innocent citizens that brought even Salva Kiir to power.
Charles,
brother Ajak.
Charles, you can stop there. Look, you are talking from Canada.
No, you are giving me asking me a question.
No. Then I will tell you. You have to be careful in using a word genocide. You understand? You have to be.
How do you define genocide?
Wait. You have to be careful in using a word genocide. I will tell the person.
Is that one a threat?
No. You have to be careful at using it because you know.
No, I'm saying, is it a threat?
It is not a threat because you don't know how to use it. The way.
No.
The way you are using it.
Tell me, how do you define what happened in Juba on December 15th to the end?
Wait. Listen.
Especially from 16 when the genocide started.
Wait here. If you are using a word to gain some political points, then you are becoming a propagandist. You are not helping the country. One thing, why don't you do this? All of us as South Sudanese, we agree that in South Sudan from the 15th, the 16th, until when the last peace was signed, thousands of South Sudanese have died. In Juba.
How did they die? Where? Where did they die?
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. In Juba, thousands have died. In Bor,
who killed them?
Can I finish, please? I am talking on the basis that I have a data, and you know that I have interviewed Riek Machar twice. I hope you know that.
Go ahead.
Okay. The people have died in Bor, in Bentiu. I don't know how much you know about Ngong Lwaliak. I don't know how much you know about Pawing. I don't know how much you know about Ruweng. I don't know how much you know about Ler. in Riek Machar home. As a person from Upper Nile myself, these areas, whether it is Ler, Pangak, Bor, currently the Gajuk and the Gajak areas, and going to the Western Nuer, people, whether they are Nuer, Maban, or the Dinka, all of them are a victim of 2013 war. So the question, and this is where the Ambassador report come in. As a person who lives in the Western world, you are living in Western world. A Ambassador report was going to look at what role did Charles play. And then this role is going to define, this court, the hybrid court, is going to define the role that Riek Machar played, that the role Salva Kiir played, that the role any general played. And then, using the legal system, based on that particular provisions, each person will be whole accountable to what he or she has done. When you come out with the conclusion, and this is my disagreement with a lot of the Dinkas or a lot of non-Dinkas, who think that we should call this particular leader a killer, or this particular leader a killer. You don't have the right. Let me finish there. You don't have the right.
How you are going to finish? I want
to lecture you here. So you need to understand that position in order to be able to communicate. If you accuse somebody, then you must first identify what was the role. Yes, we agree people have died in Juba. Do you have any evidence that Kiir has specifically ordered for this kind of death? Riek is specifically ordered for people to be killed in this particular village? Do you have that evidence?
Thank you, Ajak. Brother, I want to give you the evidence according to even Obasanjo report. Leave alone Obasanjo reports. We have physical people who are killed in Juba by the government. And who is the leader of the government in South Sudan or in Juba that time? It is Salva Kiir. Why did Salva Kiir mobilize people, the national army, to go door to door to kill the Nuer?
Evidence?
And other South Sudanese people?
Evidence?
According to Obasanjo.
No. Okay.
The government policy.
Okay, then go.
The generals were divided according to the residential areas.
Okay, then
Juba.
Now go to Bor. Who ordered the killing in Bor?
Let me finish it. I'm coming.
Wait. Let me ask you that. Who ordered the killing of women in Bor and the older one? I have lost 5 of my own relatives. Who ordered them?
Can I finish?
Yes.
I'm coming to Bor. Okay?
Yeah, okay. I need somebody who ordered them. Kiir ordered Juba. Let's stop there. Kiir ordered Juba. Who ordered people in Bor to be killed in Bor?
Can I finish?
Oh, go ahead.
Because you lecture to me, I want to also to tell you the truth.
I need you to give evidence.
So,
also, don't.
According to Obasanjo report, listen here.
Okay. What?
According to Obasanjo report,
It's a Gasma? Are you quoting
he
Gudele?
said it was the government policy.
Are you quoting Gudele?
I hope you read that report.
Yes, I read that.
If it is a government policy, that means it's Salva Kiir policy.
Okay.
If it is Salva Kiir policy, and Salva Kiir even said, Gali, iya live in a rofi POC de, wale kan de kulu rebels. Yaki, jana alma molu bikun rebel, jana suke bikun rebel.
Go to Bor. Who ordered? Who ordered people the killing in Bor, and who ordered the killing in Panga, in Ngong Lualiak areas and other areas like in Bentiu? Who ordered?
Listen, the source of the war happened in Juba, Musu. When people were, Dr. Riek was a victim. Dr. Riek was running for his life.
Charles, wait. Charles, don't matam shit enough. Don't. I'm talking.
I'm coming here. Ajak, why?
No,
let me talk.
Don't go there. I'm asking you a specific question. Who ordered? Kiir ordered Juba.
I'm going there.
No.
Order in Port cannot be happen before Juba.
No, I agree. Right? Okay, let's leave it as according to you. Juba, Kiir has ordered in Juba. That is good. We have agreed there. Let's stop it. Since you said that you quote Obasanjo, who ordered the killing in Bor, Panjak, and Bentiu? I just need a word order to answer. Who ordered? Did somebody order or no?
There was no any order. There was a fight. There was a fight between the government. Listen. The there was a fight between the government and the people, the Nuer who were escaping for their life, and they were militia ordered by the government.
What did
and those militias, there was action of fire.
What did
there were people who killed in the crossfire.
Okay, crossfire. Okay, what date was that? What date was that?
When were they killed? You are asking me. You are?
I'm asking what date was that?
You're the one who give me bor. You know the date, right?
No, okay, then let me tell you this. Charles.
Yeah. You know the date. No, you know the date, right?
Okay, Kalas, wait. Charles, I will tell you this. You are a politician. And if you are a politician, you should actually have your data with you. What happened in Juba?
You are the one who give me the data. You ask me the date. I say, no. You know the date. Why should you ask me the date?
Let me just.
You should say on this day people were killed. And remember, I follow South Sudan incident that happened during that December and January.
Then let me.
There's a lady from Bor. Ita mai or ita Gofol.
Anafi.
Okay. There's a lady who came on Sudan TV. He say when the IO, now named after IO, when those IO forces entered Bor, they never kill people.
That
they amul sunu gala nasal mutu nas musu be sunu be tesmoyo. Thirsty. I have that video. I hope I have that video. It was in SSBC.
Charles, listen to me.
Yeah.
One thing that every South Sudanese should be should do, especially those of you who are lucky to live in the Western world, is to feed yourself with the right information than wrong information. I was in.
That was a.
Listen to me. Let me finish.
Television is not the wrong information.
Listen to me.
Yeah, Jack.
On the 31st.
It's not like you are sure.
Okay. No. Let me finish. I was in Africa on the 18th, and from the 15th I was in Africa. On the 30th, from the 28th, I was in Juba. 28th of December to the 30th of December. When you are talking about the 18 of December
where 18 of December?
18 of December, yes.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
When you're talking of the 18th of December, where the Panapandia incident happened, do you know where is Panapandia anyway?
It's in Jonglei State.
No, I'm just asking you, specifically, do you know where it is?
I say in Jonglei State.
Okay. Do you know what happened there on the 18th of December?
No, you're talking about it, right?
No, I'm asking you, do you know? Because you are from Iowa, is it?
No, that was not formed.
No, I'm asking you, are you not from Iowa?
I'm from Iowa, but Iowa was not formed. Iowa was formed in April.
Then I'm asking.
The incident you are talking is before the Iowa was formed.
No, you are also talking now about the incident that before the Iowa was formed. You are talking on the 15th. I'm asking you a specific question.
We are talking about the 15th when the government. Okay, I said the government.
Then I'm asking you a simple question. Are you aware of what happened on the 18th? Ita win. Hey, Charles, anama gisa mitu kalam taki ita majuan. Charles, hey, ita piwen. Ita min sika taki waduru. Ita min ulek. Sika waduru. Ita sika waduru. I can hear you. Kada check makarpon betagya ulek inta. I think, guys, I don't need to let him go. I don't need to let Charles go. I need Charles to be convinced. Let me call you back. Let Charles not go. I think he's.
Hello, ita kasumana?
Ita dare word. Ita dare tajiri. Ita minulek.
Anna magijere. Anna ayo magijere. We are self-defense.
Now look.
So don't forget about that.
I need you to do one thing, Charles. I need you to do one thing.
When you say I need you, you are giving orders.
Okay, no. But when you are talking to me, do you know why I don't appear in many of the Junubin show? I don't like one thing. I don't like
Show. Don't say that I don't appear.
No, I don't like propagandists. I don't like them. I have to tell you.
Why do you appear in Edward's show?
Whose show? Edward? No, I've never. Damuno, galmuno, anama gatisma, muno.
They are Edward show.
No, anama Michelle Edward show. I think I only went to show with Teresa. Anama Michelle Albogulu.
Okay, they because why do you go there?
No, that's why I have to tell you that I'm not apologetic. I have to tell you that I hate propagandists. And I have to tell you that. So them are propaganda. I want to tell no. I want to come back here. I want to tell you this.
No. First answer. When you don't ask my question to Mariel, much
Aita woduru kaman.
Mother job kalam tide.
Ita raja asa. Ana madari job asmani Charles. Why I was asking,
you answer my question.
Why I was asking you? No, Asmani. I was asking you a very simple question. As a politician.
No, answer my question. If you are not doing propaganda, why you don't give my question to Mariel?
You know, sometimes not everything that is written that makes sense. Even now we have been talking with you for long, and I don't make sense of what you are saying.
What make my question to not to be make sense?
Okay, what sense have you said?
Think a question.
Pika lama to guta mini givel say nas gates my pika lama giga to gulu ya Charles. Pika lama ma pika lama giga to gutu. Ita guta kiroda.
You are not the one to answer. Odile zolde kile answer. You cannot rule out. You are a journalist. You ask questions. You are asking what the citizens want.
No kalam fare gisi salu kalam fare kalmai.
How do you rule it? Manato sa kalam fare.
Mana ya ugi kalam magaza u kalam fare ya ugi chaltala mini givel. Ma fi kalam ita.
No. Take a journalist. No. This is not.
This is not. I knock. They show the page betai. This is not any media thing. That is the page betai. This is betai. So anama there. I already give you a disclaimer. And let me go back.
No. Mariel. Why do you challenge all the Dinka question?
Asmani,
they are biased.
Ma Mikela betage auda kaman.
Take a belief under the Junub Sudan to Salva Kepe.
Mikela betage de auda kamani a Charles. Ita mategelea betag de wa anama de ita guda na denga betag. Tegelea betag de bishila gwen. You are a member of IO. It has nothing to do with your tribe, but tegelea wala jebel betao. Ita in mind do what?
No, but you selected another window. Then
I was talking. I was talking.
Maria, what? You asked those questions.
No, I promise. I promise you. I promise you that I'm not going to ask nonsense, and I'm sorry. I have to say that. Let me come.
Question that.
Let me finish now. Let me finish, Charles. Let me come to the end.
You become the
I can be actually a worse dictator when Lanu Junubin Kalam Fare Ganama there. Lanu Lo Zolgat, if you are arguing for something that doesn't make sense, I don't allow that.
It does not make sense to you, but people of South Sudan make sense. When you are doing a show, don't do it for yourself. Do it for the citizens of South Sudan.
Okay. I want to ask you a question. Ita gulu kalam kulu gigulu. There is a question here that is that Charles who said last time that a politician stole his suit? Are you the one? Did you say that? Galde ya Charles yomda Gales politician saragu suit bita. You need to ask. You asked me to ask a better question. You told me to ask a better question. Huh? Huh? Now,
no, nobody steal my.
Kaladana de nimchi. What is your position again for what is your position again le PSPLMIO so nas yesma?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to give
Network is cutting. I want network is
am I?
your network is cutting. I can't hear you. And then I want just you to explain yourself and then but I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
No, network is
again,
network is bad. Mileage. Sorry. Yeah, Jama mileage I can. Sorry guys, I need to. The reason why I kept Charles to talk is that sometimes to you need to be well informed when you coming to debate things. Charles, I'm just trying to get the meaning of what Charles is saying because there's in a war whether it was the South Sudanese and North Sudanese war, atrocities were committed. And atrocities, when they are committed, they are coming on both sides. And for you to be fair, you have to hold each part accountable for what they have done and the role that they have played. But it was not the case with Charles. I just don't. Another thing also, South Sudanese in the Western world need to understand that there is a legal process. And now that Salva Kiir and Riek Machar are part of one government, the only thing that we can beg from them is for them to allow the hybrid court to be formed so that the role of individuals can be legally identified, and those who are considered responsible can actually face the law. And that should be the position of Junubin al Gaidin Barra. Mind the action, teji to gul the zol de aukatal zol bitai, zol da aukatal zol bitai. It is now time for you, because people are on peacetime, and it is time for people to allow and also to advocate, especially majority of Junubin fi outside ya Jama. You need to turn advocates, not advocates for bad reason, but you need to talk to your political leaders so that they are able to trust. So that they are able to trust in the legal system. And then that they can allow the process to take its course. And then from there you will know who is responsible and who is responsible and who should be considered or who will be taken to court, and then the court will get him guilty or not guilty. And that is the position that the majority of you should take now after peace agreement. Be advocates of peace, be advocate of the good system, and let me write some. Okay. So that is what I need you guys to take, and that's why I would have ended the show before. And now let me play the John Bagger Riang Madat Salam.
Fakir Madat Salam, Riang Salam. Nin biga tamam biga murda, motorona jil. Jalamnya, biyunume betalau, bechejen. fakir mada salam, ya salam. Morning biga tamam biga murda, motoron anjil, salam ya, biyunu me, betalau, bejejen, betalau, abuba salam ya, matako salam ya, mama salam ya. Salam take, full fakir salam take, yang majar salam take, panika salam take, tabandenga salam take, full fakir mada salam, ya ludu salam, onin biga tamam biga murda, motoron anjil, salam ya, biyunu me, betalau, bejejen, betalau, abuba salam ya, matako salam ya, mama salam ya. Salam take, wane konga salam take, jadala salam take, aku jino bulung salam take, Emmanuel Adi salam take, tumkulu salam takun, intum kulu salam takun, etire kulum salam takun, dol fakir mada salam, ya ludu salam, onin biga tamam biga murda, motoron anjil, salam ya, biyunu me, betalau, bejejen, betalau, abuba salam ya, matakore salam ya, mama salam ya, salam take, kwal menyang salam take, kwal menyang salam take, ay jang mamur salam take, ay jang mamur salam take, dol fakir mada salam, ya ludu salam, onin biga tamam biga murda, motoron anjil, salam ya, biyunu me, betalau,
pijebel.
Betalau, abuba salam ya, matakore salam ya.
Motor nazil de John Bagar. Betty, that song was the piece. Hey, Betty, so it's a very good song that well that is a very good song, Gale. Okay, let me explain that. President Salva Kiir signed peace. Dr. Riek Machar agreed to that peace agreement. So peace be upon you, Riek, and peace be upon you, President Kiir. Peace on you, be upon you, Vice President Waniga. Kuala Manyang, peace be upon you too. Wani Konga, Jadala, Ajak, that is Isaac Mahmoud. So that is so Isaac Mahmoud, Salam Ya. People at the Unamis will come out. And they celebrate. They will celebrate. All mothers will celebrate. And all people will celebrate. And he was referencing that the coming of peace agreement is a relief to the people of South Sudan. And he was excited. So that song mean a lot to if that peace was to come with anything good for the ordinary citizen. And as I would just want to end this show that the reason for today's talk was to just give you an highlights. And the most important thing also is to give you a space where people can talk without shouting, without calling names. The problem of South Sudan now is not a tribal problem. You cannot treat this as a Dinka by any tribe. You cannot treat it as a Nuer by any tribe, or Zandi fighting another tribe. You have to look holistically. The issue is more complicated than you think. There is no problem between the tribe of South Sudan, but there is a problem between the leaders of South Sudan. And that problem is where, if you look at the case, the simple case of SPLM and SPLM-IO, the Dinka are moving, the Dinka who are the supporters of President Salva Kiir Mayardit are moving to support Riek Machar. The Nuer who were known as diehard supporters of Riek Machar are moving to support President Salva Kiir Mayardit. In the government of Salva Kiir Mayardit from 2013, senior officials have laid the position as Nuer. And if you look at, I'm not trying to defend Kiir here, but you look at, take example, people always blame him as from his homeland, that his home is the one ruling. People don't know that there is nobody, there is no minister from Kiir village. Awan, where he was born, there is no minister from Awan. That is to say that President Kiir is occupying the city. Bar Ghazal is a region like Upper Nile. Equatoria is a region. And the government is not supposed to be a bad region. If you look at the best example in Western world, take example in United States. Kushner is a son-in-law to to President Trump. Is that corruption? No. The daughter is part of the team. Is that corruption? No. What we should actually look at, if we were to look at things now in South Sudan, take example, Riek Machar is a vice president. His wife is the minister of defense. President Salva Kiir Mayardit and maybe one of his relatives is there. What we are supposed to be asking from them is not about their relatives being there, but can their relatives give us services? If their relatives are in the government, can they give us water? Can they give us security? Can they give us food? I care less whether Kiir was to be a president, his daughter, and everybody. What I just need, if that daughter can give me security, I will be happy. I will say, go in, let a dude come, let T come, whoever is there, let them rule. But as long as I'm getting the services as a citizen, and this is where a lot of South Sudanese in the Western world need to put attention in that place. If you are talking about what is happening in South Sudan, you don't need to talk about who Kiir is bringing to the government as a relative, but question the capability of that particular relative. Is that relative capable enough? Is that relative going to offer services that are needed for the South Sudanese? If that relative is not capable enough, then that is where you need to base your criticism. The same thing with Riek Machar. If he's bringing in his brother-in-law, his daughter-in-law, or his wife, you need to question, is his wife capable enough? If Angelina is capable, okay, that's good. Is she going to give services? Another thing that you also need to know, even if somebody was to appoint me now as a minister, take example, I will reject that. I will not be a minister. Because if I can go to a government where I will not be able to pay anything to my children, I cannot take care of my family, then I'm going to be a thief. Expect that from me. I got children, and then you will take me from Australia to employ me. Like majority of our brothers who are living in Australia and United States and Canada to go and work in Juba. Yes, that is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, you are going to be accommodated in a hotel, and you know that you live in Australia where you were not accommodated in a hotel. You work for the government, or you work in a company where you are paid to go and pay your own rent. In South Sudan, you are paid, and then government is paying where you're sleeping, and government is paying where you're eating. And then the same people will be running around and say, okay, Kir Mayadit is destroying our country. How? Where are you sleeping? Tani the guide fi border gadi shil guru kutu fi jebu gala Kir Mayadit gade karabelet. Gade karabu a liter gade kut fi jebde. Gamanita gade tetfa drive. So I just want you guys to take that. And that is the last remark. As people in the West, I'm concentrating on people in the West. And in regard to what I was telling Charles, we need to look at things in a holistic manner. What would be the solution? It's not about blame. Today was not about blame when we were talking with Mariar. We were trying to understand how things work. And also when you don't hold politicians when you don't tell them what they are doing wrong, politicians, then they will never correct it. That means you don't hate them, but you are telling them what they are doing wrong. So what we were discussing was a civil discussion, and it should not be a matter of yelling. The Charles can dare amolo. So thank you so much for your time. Today I was speaking in English, not in Dinka. As always, I've always been neglecting the non-Dinka speakers, and I'm sorry. I think I will have to change things. I will have to change things. I will have to. I'm not out of topic. I'm putting my last remark. I'm leaving the show, so I'm done for the day. I agree, Said. Nobody. If I agree, any person whose role has been identified, any person, whether it's Kir, Riek, or whoever, any person whose role has been identified and all the legal avenues have been exhausted, that person should be held accountable. That is how things work in the world that we live in. Even Jesus was taken to court when he was accused. So you need to understand that. Nobody is saying don't accuse anyone. Accusation is different from saying that this person have done this when you don't have evidence. So I'm saying whether Kir, Riek, or whoever is accused, let's wait until a certain moment. We pray that they implement the creation of a hybrid court, and then this is where the process should begin. If you want to be a very good advocate, because there are no people that have come, advocate for the creation of this legal process, and then we may find answers. And that is what I'm suggesting. People like those who are accusing Kir, those who are accusing Riek, those who are accusing the followers of Kir, those who are accusing the followers of Riek Machar, you will never finish this by accusing them. But you have to advocate for the system to be set up so that you are able to hold whoever accountable for whatever he or she has done. So ana bagul salam alaikum. Ana bagul salam alaikum, and because I need people to be guys, take that Skype and add that. If you want to be part, Skype is free. It's just like Facebook. It's just free. It can bring this where I can bring you on the video, whether you are in Juba or where. That is where I can invite you. So, but not today. And have a good shukran alaikum, and God bless you. Thank you.